Hi guys, I'm Gasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times to discuss movies in horror. And today I bring you 13 movie recommendations for those rainy days when all you want is a cozy time on the couch and a creepy movie.
It's coffee time!
There's nothing quite like when winter hits and it is a rainy day, it's pouring rain outside, you are on your couch with a blanket, with a hot beverage, and there's something really comforting on putting on a horror movie. Sometimes it's movies we've enjoyed over and over again and they bring us comfort and we love to rewatch them, especially in winter or during the spooky season, during Halloween. So I thought I would compile for you a small list of movies that I think go really well together with those kind of more gloomy, rainy days. The Haunting of Julia, 1977. Magnus and Julia, played by Mia Farrow, have a happy marriage until one morning when their daughter Kate begins choking. Julia doesn't know what to do and she attempts to perform a tracheotomy, but this sadly causes Kate's death. Julia heads to a sanitarium to try to recover, and when her husband Magnus asks her to come back home, she prefers to buy a new house in London and live alone. Magnus frets over Julia's sanity while Julia becomes convinced that her house is haunted by the spirit of a little girl. This movie is an adaptation from the book Julia by Peter Straub from 1975. The Haunting of Julia is a melancholic, unsettling, eerie horror film that got the ghost aspect right. It is beautifully shot and offers a compelling story. The Fog, 1980. Strange things begin to occur as a tiny California coastal town prepares to commemorate its centenary. Inanimate objects spring eerily to life. Reverend Malone stumbles upon a dark secret about the town's founding. Radio announcer Stevie witnesses a mystical fire, and hitchhiker Elizabeth discovers the mutilated corpse of a fisherman. Then a mysterious iridescent fog descends upon the village, and more people start to die. This is one of Carpenter's most atmospheric films. He likes to present in his movies a group of very different people that are set in an isolated scenario and whose personalities will clash in a moment of helplessness. A twist on the classic ghost story about revenge, perfect for winter. An American Werewolf in London, 1981. David and Jack, two American college students, are backpacking through Britain when a large wolf attacks them. David survives with a bite, but Jack is brutally killed. As David heals in the hospital, he's plagued by violent nightmares of his mutilated friend, who warns David that he is becoming a werewolf. When David discovers the horrible truth, he contemplates committing suicide before the next full moon causes him to transform from man to murderous beast. This is a horror comedy in which the horror parts are quite scary. This creature feature had one of the best transformation scenes that took the crew months to prepare. They also put a lot of work into makeup and practical effects when it comes to Jack and his transformation, and all of this work paid off. The Crow, 1994. The night before his wedding, musician Eric Draven, played by the late Brandon Lee, and his fiancée are brutally murdered by members of a violent inner-city gang. On the anniversary of their death, Eric rises from the grave and assumes the identity of the Crow, a supernatural avenger. He decides to track down the thugs that are responsible for all the crimes and decides to murder them. The Crow was Alex Proyas' pulp revenge fantasy based on a comic book saga by James O'Barr. The film is dark, moody, and a beautiful love story. There's something particularly hypnotic about its gothic aesthetic, and you will find a powerful and entertaining story that still holds up today. And remember, it can't rain all the time. Dark City, 1998. John Murdoch awakens alone in a strange hotel to find that he is wanted for a series of brutal murders. The problem is that he can't remember whether he committed them or not. For one brief moment, he is convinced that he has gone completely mad. Murdoch seeks to unravel the twisted riddle of his identity. As he edges closer to solving the mystery, he stumbles upon a fiendish underworld controlled by a group of ominous beings collectively known as the Strangers. This movie will transport you to a different world in which you will experience the sensation of dreaming without being able to wake up. An entertaining film about memory, thought control, human will, and the altering of reality, all while offering great visual effects. Dark Water, 2002. In this moody Japanese horror film, new single mom Yoshimi Matsubara is enduring a bitter divorce and struggling to keep custody of her young daughter Ikuko. As the unstable Yoshimi tries to make a fresh start in a new apartment, strange occurrences in the building gradually begin to take their toll. When Yoshimi and Ikuko both start seeing unsettling visions of a ghostly little girl, it's clear that they are being drawn toward the supernatural. The movie presents the natural fear of a mother losing her child and ties this very well with the supernatural. The way the sadness is tied with all the scares and the horror is something that this movie excels at. If you have only seen the remake, I do urge you to check out the original. Pontypool, 2008. When disc jockey Grant Massey reports to his basement radio station in the Canadian town of Pontypool, he thinks it's just another day at work. But when he hears reports of a virus that turns people into zombies, Massey barricades himself in the radio booth and tries to figure out a way to warn his listeners about the virus and its unlikely mode of transmission, the English language. This is such an original take on the zombie movies and a suspenseful way of bringing the zombie genre to a different and claustrophobic setting. With great performances, it is a film that showcases the inner fears of society and us as individuals. Drag Me to Hell, 2009. Christine Brown has a loving boyfriend and a great job at a Los Angeles bank, but her heavenly life becomes hellish when, in an effort to impress her boss, she denies an old woman's request for an extension on her home loan. In retaliation, the crone places a curse on Christine, threatening her soul with eternal damnation. Christine seeks a psychic's help to break the curse, but the price to save her soul might be more than she can pay. This well-directed movie by Sam Raimi is a lot of fun. The movie goes back to the tropes of curses and the classic seance moments. In the tone of the Evil Dead movies, this film offers horror and humor hand in hand. Black Mountainside, 2014. Archaeologists find a strange structure in northern Canada that appears to be thousands of years old. The team members become isolated when their communications fail and their sanity begins to unravel. This indie film with a low budget has a lot of things in its favor. It offers an exceptional script and a great cast, which are key to making the story compelling and effective. Fans of The Thing should give this movie a chance. The Witch, 2015. In 1630 New England, panic and despair envelops a farmer, his wife, and their children when youngest son Samuel suddenly vanishes. The family blames Thomasin, the oldest daughter, who was watching the boy at the time of his disappearance. With suspicion and paranoia mounting, twin siblings Mercy and Jonas suspect Thomasin of witchcraft, testing the clan's faith, loyalty, and love to one another. This folk horror tale was Robert Eggers' feature directorial debut, and what an impressive way to start. In his movies, scares are not where the horror is at. He takes you to places that are way more disturbing and intense, showing how human nature can be the most destructive of all forces. This film also has one of my favorite endings. The Wailing, 2016. In this Korean horror thriller, villagers investigate a mysterious new stranger and the killings that arrive with him. The film centers on a policeman who investigates the series of mysterious killings and illnesses in this remote Korean village in order to save his own daughter. The Wailing is an intense story about history and cultures, but it also includes murder, supernatural elements, and the origin of evil. It is a unique blend of genres that will take you through an unforgettable journey. Even though it has a long running time, this supernatural whodunit is a moving film that is both heartbreaking and horrifying. May the Devil Take You, 2018. In this Indonesian horror film, we follow a young woman named Alfie searching for answers to her father's mysterious illness that has gotten worse and put him into a coma. Trying to find a cure, she visits his old villa, where she opens a sealed basement door and uncovers a horrifying truth from the past. This throwback to the 80s and movies like Evil Dead will please fans of such demonic and witchy films that ensure you a crazy ride into madness. The comedic touch, however, does not stop this movie from being frightening, violent, and gory. The Night House, 2020. Reeling from the unexpected death of her husband, Beth is left alone in the lakeside home he built for her. She tries as best she can to keep it together, but then the nightmares come. Disturbing visions of a presence in the house calling to her, beckoning her with a ghostly allure. Against the advice of her friends, she begins digging into her husband's belongings, yearning for answers. What she finds are secrets both strange and disturbing, and a mystery she's determined to unravel. With a clever script, one of the best achievements of this film is the tension building and its sophisticated visuals. A well-directed and fresh take on the haunted house trope that takes us on a dark descent of the mind and offers a terrifying look into grief and depression. It is a slow burn psychological movie guaranteed to give you chills. There are many other movies. I could do so many more videos of horror movies for rainy days or winter that have that kind of moody atmosphere. I feel like a lot of the Asian movies have that kind of vibe, like The Eye, Ringu, or The Grudge. I am a huge fan of Asian horror movies like that because I feel like they bring this horror atmosphere really well to the screen. You can also dive into the James Wan universe. You have the Insidious movies, the Conjuring movies, Saw, you have Dead Silence, even Malignant. I think that his movies are quite comforting and they are great picks for a rainy day. These were 13 horror movie recommendations for a rainy day. Let me know if you would like to see part 2 because like I said, there is many other movies that have that kind of mood that you could choose to watch on a rainy winter day. Let me know down below, you guys, also which movies you would add to the list and which of the movies that I have mentioned is your favorite. Thank you guys as always so much for watching, and I hope to see you all as always in our next coffee time. Bye!